wide awake then, Miss McBride. She created quite a mess for us this morning." Dottie smirked at the supervisor's remark, but the lieutenant turned on his heel at the comment. "If that is truly what happened, Mr. Grant, you should be thanking me for taking her out of the packing room. Why did you argue to keep her here?" Without waiting for a response, the lieutenant escorted Clara from the room. Clara quickened her step to keep pace with the lieutenant's long stride. Before they arrived at the door of the cylinder room, he stopped and turned to her. "We have a new employee, a Miss Hodson." He hesitated. "I don't recall her full name, but you can inquire after I make introductions. I want you to train her. While she has no experience, since her recent move to Washington, she's been eager to secure work here at the arsenal." "I enjoy training the new girls, so I'll do my best." Clara's lips curved in a fleeting smile. "May I ask why Miss Wilson was angry with me?" "She didn't want to replace you in the packing room and said she could train Miss Hodson." The lieutenant hiked a shoulder. "That didn't prove to be true. Her anger is misdirected. I'll speak to her." Clara shook her head. "No, please don't. I'm sure she'll be fine once she returns to the cylinder room. There are few who enjoy the packing room." "Or Mr. Grant?" He arched a brow. A soft chuckle escaped Clara's lips. "That, too." Clara captured a loose strand of chestnut-brown hair and tucked it behind her ear as she followed the lieutenant to the other side of the room. Miss Hodson sat in the lieutenant's chair and jumped to her feet as they approached. When the young woman fluttered her eyelashes at the lieutenant, Clara suppressed a gasp and gave him a sideways glance. Did he think the new employee's behavior charming or unseemly? Or had he even noticed? He'd been at the arsenal for only a month now and appeared to be more interested in production than charm, although his good looks were often a topic of discussion among the girls who worked in the laboratory. In truth, the young lieutenant frequented Clara's dreams quite often, a fact that both disturbed and delighted her. "Miss Hodson, I'd like you to meet Miss Clara McBride. She's one of the very best employees in the cylinder room. She is well qualified to train new employees in the packing room, filling room, cap cylinder room, and the cylinder room. If you heed her advice, you'll learn quickly." "I'll do my very best to please you, Lieutenant." She leaned in as she lifted her head and batted her lashes. The lieutenant took a backward step. "It's Miss McBride you need to please. If she finds your work suitable, it will satisfy me." He looked at Clara. "You can begin your training, but I'd like to speak to you before you depart this evening." Clara nodded. No doubt he wanted an explanation about the happenings in the packing room. After his generous comments about her abilities, it would be difficult to tell him she'd nearly fallen asleep at her work table. She pushed the thought from her mind and turned to Miss Hodson. "Even though you've received some training from Miss Wilson, let's start at the very beginning." She glanced toward one of the long tables. "Do you prefer I address you as Miss Hodson?" The young woman shook her head. "No, please, call me Beatrice. And you?" "Clara. Last names seem far too formal when we're sitting next to each other all day making bullets to help win the war." Clara gestured toward the hard wooden benches on one side of the table. She leaned close to Beatrice's ear. "Our hooped skirts and crinolines make it difficult, but we need as many women as possible working on each side of the bench, so push in as far as possible." Beatrice wrinkled her nose. "It's uncomfortable sitting so close, and there's no way off the bench without making the others get up. When I had to move, I discovered it irritated some of the ladies. You'd think they would be understanding when someone needs the necessary." "You'll soon discover most of them to be very kind and helpful." Clara smiled and walked to one end of the table. "This is the beginning of the process. The women at this side of the room roll paper cylinders that will become cartridges once they're filled with gunpowder. There are exacting instructions that must be followed when making the cylinders." Clara pointed to a young lady holding a wooden dowel with a point at one end. "That piece of wood is called a former, and it's the same width as a finished cartridge."